lights cut a narrow tunnel through the dark. Dashboard clock says 3 a.m. Engine ticks like a tired heart. Phone face down, but I still hear your shaking voice. Come out to the old bridge, I ran out of better choice. Trunk's got that heavy silence that don't rattle when I turn. Tazik folded like a curtain, tools that never see the sun. So them lamps along the guardrail buzzing hum. River moving slow beneath us like it knows what we become. I've wiped walls in motel bathrooms till the grout turned pale. Watch the steam from burning fabrics ride its curling little tail. Bleach bottle rolling in the backseat with a dull soft knock. Gloves by the floorboard, hood half warm, still ticking from the wall. I've hosed down empty alleys till the drains ran clear. Scrub the stories off the concrete like they never happened here. Every favor cuts a notch, every notch still has your name. I keep them filed behind my ribs, I never speak them but they stay. I don't deal in saints or sins, I deal in what gets done. When the night has closed its doors on you, I'm the last remaining one. I'm the man they call at 3 a.m. when the road turns dark and too far for the rest of them. I don't ask you for the details when I just move what you can't carry and I don't come back again. You can hide behind your stories with your wide-eyed trembling friends, but the man they call at 3 a.m. remembers how it ends. You stand there by the railing with your collar pulled up high, hands jammed deep inside your pockets like you're strangling a lie. You say, brother, I was cornered, and I hear it in your tone. That little reach for something clean you never say alone. I scan the empty roadway, feel the steel beneath my palm. Every storm you drag me into, I walk in looking calm. But there's a line across this bridge only I can see, where the work stops being loyal and it starts erasing me. You think this river keeps its secrets, think the darkness makes you clean, think calling me will spare you from the weight of what you've seen. But every time you hit my number, you hand me one more stone to hold. And a man who lives on other people's midnights never gets to die of old. I'm the man they call at 3 a.m. when the damage runs too heavy for the rest of them. I don't ask you who you hurt or when, I just carry it in silence while you breathe like it was then. You can walk away at sunrise with your shaking almost spent, but the man they call at 3 a.m. is where your night went. Raising hum in the hallway, boots on a cracked tile floor, like a door hanging crooked, paint peeled around the corners of the door. I slide my badge into the drawer, let the metal kiss the wood. Hang my coat on a rusted hook where the straight ones used to stood. Evidence boxes in the shadows, dust sleeping on each case. I can feel this city breathing through the pipes inside this place. I clock out with a steady hand, knotted faces heading home. But my shift don't end at midnight, it just moves into the unknown. Now I'm parked by the old stone bridge, river moving slow and black. Dashboard clock says 1:30. No patrols on the stretch of track. Phone screen glowing on the seat. Your last message still unread, asking why I keep my world in pieces, why you never see the threads. I got a notebook on my knee, pen tapping in the dome light haze, trying to pull one honest sentence through these crooked working days. I write your name across the top, then cross it out with one hard stroke. Some things don't belong in rooms where every promise gets broke. I want a gun in both directions, walk long corridors of doubt. Shook hands with men I should drag in, and men I should drag out. This badge is just a mirror, it don't change the face it hides. All it does is buy me time to choose which wrong I'll let slide. So I keep my badge in the drawer when the truth gets so denied. Keep my word in the dark where the law runs out of light. I'm the line they never print on any paper that they sign. I'm the hand that cleans the mess when the rules get left behind. You keep reaching for my daylight like I'm something you can claim, but I'm holding back the part of me that would drag you in this game. I remember your small kitchen, light above the sink burn low, steam rising from a single cup, your bare feet on the floor so slow. You said one day you'll have to choose if you're coming all the way. I just kissed you in the doorway, and I filed that line away. Now the glove box holds a folder stamped with names you'll never hear, deals that kept your street from burning, debts that keep my conscience near. I'm not proud of every favor, but I'll stand behind each call. Better they write me dirty than let the fire reach your wall. First day in a sharp new jacket, empty holster on my side. Thought the world was black and white, and I'd be walking on the right. Then I watched a decent man go down for telling what he knew. So I learned to keep my silence and let my choices speak it through. So I keep my badge in a drawer when this city starts to roar. Keep my deals in the alleys, keep my heart outside your door. I'm the line they can't erase when they need a quiet fix. I'm the shadow in the stairwell where the law and money mix. You keep asking for the whole man, like the past can just let go. But I'll love you from this river's edge where you never have to know. There's a lamp over the desk, painting circles on the wood. Blinds half closed on this city. If I wanted more, I could. Ledger open like a window, every line a quiet door, where you write a man's protection or erase him from the floor. You're leaning in the doorway with your jacket half undone, thinking just another soldier, think it's all about the gun. But the room you're looking into is the heart of how we move. We're a single careful number, knocks the life out of its groove. I have signed off all the shipments, turned the noise into a hush, made a headline disappear with just a margin and a brush. I have rounded off the figures till the pattern looks like chance. Watched a problem fade to nothing when I shifted one advance. They will toast the one who shouts loud, they will fear the one with steel. But it's hands like mine and ledgers that decide what's truly real. Keep on tightening your laces, keep that trigger hand in line. I'll be here behind these pages, drawing borders on your time. You see muscle, you see money, you see keys to every floor, but the real lock on this building is the ink inside this drawer. I'm the quiet hand on the ledger, I decide who gets to stay, who walks out with their name shining, who gets filed and swept away. You just see a stack of paper, I see doors and alibis. I can't cover you with columns, I can fade you with a line. If you want this chair tomorrow, better learn before you sit. Every number that you balance puts a ghost inside of it. There are whispers in the hallway about audits on the rise, about people counting backward, about hands that measure lives. There's a folder in this drawer marked for the day the wheel slows down, names that only come to daylight when it's time to trade a crown. If they ever sit you here, kid, with this ledger in your reach, you'll be holding more than paper when you hear the floorboards creak. 'Cause the ones who sign the smallest line still pay the longest debt. Every neat and tidy entry marks a choice you won't forget. like me don't wear a medal. We just learn the way to fight. Sit in silence while the louder ones shake hands and practice smiles. Code is written past these pages, deeper than the lines I meant. It's the promise that I showed her every time I change an end. I'm the quiet hand on the ledger, keeping balance in the dark, rearranging how the falling lands, so it just avoids your card. You will call it simple fortune. You will think the path was clear, but his fingers on a fountain pen that bent the night to keep you here. If you take this book from me, kid, if you want that hidden crown, you will sleep above the city and feel every number drag you down.
Blinds cut the city into stripes. Across his desk a wooden glass. Lamp throws a circle on the ledger where the names and numbers pass. Safe door sleeps behind me. Heavy metal in the wall. On the shelf a row of folders. Every favor, every call. Chessboard on a side table, king laid over its side. Screen glow on the cabinet, little dots for those who hide. One clean glass beside a notebook, keys and heavy fountain pen. You keep asking how it happened when we lost another friend. He was sitting where you're standing, same quick tapping in his shoe, talking like the air was thinner, like the room was cutting through. Said he only moved a little, took a shaving off the tape. Thought the house was built so solid, I just smile and let it break. But the columns didn't balance, something twisted in the grain. When the total started bleeding, all that brotherhood was pain. So I shifted 3 small figures, wrote a date beside his name. He walked out with all his swagger, but he never walked back sane. Paper doesn't listen to the stories in your eyes. Lines don't bend for pretty words, totals never sympathize. 'Cause the ink never lies when the numbers turn red. I keep the empire in columns and the ghost in my head. I don't shout, I don't threaten, I just straighten the page. And a man fades quietly like a line from the wage. You can swear on your honor thinking no one sees the pattern in the way the ledger looks. There's a suitcase by the filing, there's a file without a tab, there's a name that keeps repeating when I run the nightly tap. I remember when we started, two steel knots and shaking hands, swore we'd never cross each other, swore we'd never move like sand. Now I catch your shadow flicker when the elevator sings, hear you laughing in the hallway with the men who sell their kings. Trust is just a balance sheet with memories as gold. Debt becomes a sentence when the numbers run too bold. Power is a quiet room where one man has the pen. Sleep is what you sacrifice to live with what you've penned. So remember the ink when you look in my face. I don't bargain with panic, I don't traffic in disgrace. I keep my voice low and steady while the totals align. And the fate of every coward is a thin black line. You can tell me you're loyal, you can swear you're on my side, but the truth lives in ledgers you can't run from or hide. Walk straight like a gentleman, you'll learn how silence cries on a cold white page under ink that never lies.
Faded carpet in the hallway, souls in the area. Ice machine in a corner, breathing cold across the floor. Testing number on the key ring, swinging from my hand. Chain lock clicks behind me like it's part of what I am. On the dresser by the mirror, rubber gloves and bottled bleach. Cheap print of a coastline no one here will ever reach. I lay a towel on the bedside, phone turned over in my palm. Another midnight call from you, and I walk in quiet calm. We came up sharing back seats, same jacket, same street rules. Learned to hold our tongues in rooms where bosses counted tools. I learned how to stay quiet, how to watch and how to wait. You learned how to chase the rush and lean a little in the fate. You started making headlines in rooms that shouldn't have a crowd. I started getting late night knocks when things got way too loud. You laugh it off at breakfast, it's like the night was just a joke, while I was counting every footprint, every line that you had broke. Every stain has got a story, every story leaves a mark. You can bleach it off the sheet, but it still follows in the dark. I'm the gone too far. When the shoutings turn to whispers and there's damage in the car, I don't ask you what you did, I just measure what you owe. Wipe your name off one more surface and decide how far we go. You can gamble with the daylight, you can dance till alarms all slam, but when you're out of easy answers, I'm the last quiet man. Job done, sink still dripping, gloves rolled tight into a knot. Key left on the table where the lamp paints out the spot. I crossed the lot to that diner where the coffee tastes like chrome. Slide into a cracked Red Bull that feels more mine than home. Through the glass I watch your taillights blur and climb the road. Same car, same wrong direction, just a heavier, brighter load. I stir sugar into nothing, watch the spoon turn slow and thin, counting how many more midnights I'll be willing to step in. Never rush a closing, never leave a corner wet, never trust a desperate man to pay off every debt. Never put your face in anything that doesn't wipe away. Never walk your brother out if you can't let him go someday. Keep your calm like loaded metal, keep your footprints in the span, 'cause you only get one legend as the last quiet man. Turn to ash when the story's lost its glamour and it's down to cloth and cash. I don't carry all your secrets, but I know where some began. If I ever stop returning, you'll remember who I am. You can burn through all your favors till there's no one left to stand. Echo in that motel will say, last quiet man. Back room light is green, humming over columns in a row. Ledger open on the table, every name of dead I know. Safe door breathing in the corner, metal jar that never speaks, ink still shining on the pages from the work we did this week. You pour me something dark and quiet, slide it down with steady hands. Floor is scarred from chairs and footsteps, deals and worn out wedding bands. I don't come here for confession, but tonight I bend that rule, 'cause there's one line in these figures
turned me from sharp to cruel. He was with me from the sidewalks, from the days we split one coat. Shared a lighter, shared a doorway, shared a half-remembered note. We were boys with empty pockets, till the walls turned soft to steel. We climbed ladders made of favors, learned which pressure points to feel. Last month someone brought a problem with his name underlined twice. Talked his temper, talked his habits, said he'd rolled the wrong kind of dice. I just waited in the margins, drew a circle round his file, closed the cover, signed the paper, nodded once and held my smile. On the side of the table, it's just symbols black on white. Out there one simple check mark means someone won't see the night. There's blood in the ledger, but my hands look clean. Every stroke of this ink cuts deeper than it seems. I balance the columns, keep the house in line, count the losses like numbers, call it cost instead of crime. I sit in the quiet where the big men really tread. There's blood in the ledger, and it's written in my head. Now his chair stays bare and waiting at the corner of the bar. Same old hook above the counter where he'd hang his fraying scarf. You still wipe that patch by habit, like you're waiting for his boots. But his tab got stamped completed with a handshake and a suit. Boss still sends the envelopes, pen still scratch and sign on cue. I still total every evening, pass the folder back to you. On the surface nothing's broken, books all match, the cash all fits. But there's one line carved like gravel I can't smooth out of this list. Men like me don't swing the hammers, we just mark where they should land. Move a comma, change a total, that's enough to close a hand. You can call it order business, any word that helps it pass. But I still see my oldest brother in that thin black line of ink and glass. There's blood in the ledger, though the floor stays dry. Every silent little signature decides who says goodbye. I keep the machine steady, keep the house on time, trade my sleep for their comfort, wear that burden like a tie. I live in the back room where the daylight seldom spreads. There's blood in the ledger, and it's living in my head.
Longs through some grow eyes down and the clock says 2:30. Neon buzzing in the window in red on my shoes. Coffee and tip white mug, sugar packets in all the plug. You wipe down the same old counter, knowing smile. My badge is in a dresser drawer, under socks and folded shirts. Gun locked up in the hallway, safe still remembers what it's worth. Tonight the line went crooked like the letters on that sign. So I came here for the quiet, just to walk it in my mind. I've shaken hands with suit and ties and never see a holding cell. Taking calls from quiet mothers, telling me which truth to sell. I walked past the back room doorway when I knew what lay inside. Told myself a bigger picture, I needed one more look, a way to slide. You can feed a hungry city with a little missing. Turn a chalk line into rumor, turn cold barrels into no proof. But there's a file in my bottom drawer that I never learned to close. Kid with fresh ink on his fingers and a stare that never goes. I wash my hands till the skin burns, still the stains stay in my head. Every favor that I bought sits online in my bed. I can't wear that badge like silver, can't pretend it's shining. All I've got is how I carry what I've done and what I do. I'm more honest with the badge in the drawer when it's lying in the darkness of a life I can't ignore. Out here under buzzing neon, with his coffee losing heat, you can see the man beneath the metal, see the miles under my feet. I'm no saint and I'm no savior, I walk side streets southern bold, but I still sleep by a compass that won't bend beyond this oath. There was a night by the old bridge, blue lights shaking on the stone. Boss said let it die on paper, send the witnesses back home. Brown envelope on my table, thick enough to shake the wood. When it landed like a verdict, it would never do me good. I took half and left half waiting, watched it till the morning came. Used my share to keep a mother and a hallway out of shame. Paid her rent through 6 cold winters, kept a meter off through the red. Never told her where it came from, never asked what might be said. Now I'm not clean, but I'm not hollow, I'll still answer to my shade, to the man inside the mirror, counting every trade I made. If they ever come to take me, let them find me on my feet. Not a hero, not a victim, just a man who named his heat. I'm more honest with the badge in the drawer. When it's quiet in the wooden box, I can't pretend anymore. If I clip it to my belt, I see the side I'm paid to show. But in places like this diner, you can feel what runs below. I'm no saint and I'm no angel, I've walked hand in hand with both, but I still live by a compass that won't break beyond its soul.
Backroom drool, quiet bar. Door clicks off behind my back. Yellow bulb above the pool cues. Paint is peeling down in cracks. My badge is in my pocket, not shining on my chest tonight. Case files in a rubber band, corners curled from too much light. There's a glass ring on the ledger where the owner signs his name. Keys to an unmarked car are sitting by a stack of claims. You're just pouring something clear, letting silence set the pace. I can see the old bridge metal in the window's crooked frame. I was clean once, straight lines, wrote reports the way they taught. Every cuff and every booking, just another quiet notch. Then I found which door stayed open if you never wrote the time. How a favor in the shadows kept the trouble off the line. Got a picking who walked home and who took that one last ride. Got a sitting in that office with the law bent to my side. My partner used to shake his head, say I walked too close tonight, but he backed my word in hearings, swore I always got it right. There's a line out by the river where the truth and stories part, and a man who lives between them starts to split inside his heart. 'Cause I keep the law on a leash in the dark, like a dog in my heel while I'm dealing in the park. I'm the one they call at midnight when the ink won't stay, when they need a steady hand to make it read their way. I can make a siren quiet with a look and a nod. Yeah, I keep the law on a leash with these deals and this facade. That night under the bridge beams, flashing blue on rust and stone, we were standing by an engine that was cooling down the chrome. He was talking about transfer, about leaving all this mess, about kids and clean beginnings in a house that faced the west. I took one step to the railing when I heard the tires cry. Saw a shape cut through floodlights, knew a death was coming by. By the time I drew my weapon, by the time the noise was clear, he was down beside the pillar, and the death was in my ear. Don't mistake this for a breakdown, I'm not here to fall apart. I still walk into that station with a folder and a heart. But there's ink that never dries, and there's names that never talk, and there's deals that buy you power, but they cost you when you walk. So I keep the law on a leash in the dark, like a chain in my hand with my print on the mark. I'm the one who signs a paper when the storm rolls through, making sure that quiet river never says what it knew. If you ever see me smiling in a hallway of stone, just know I keep the law on a leash, and I answer alone.
Platform, last train gone, flicker in the station lights, paper cup, cold black coffee, footsteps echo through the night, ticket folded in my pocket, jacket hanging off one arm, name tag crooked on my collar, gun still sleeping, metal warm, like a key beside my lighter, worn down edges silver thin. There's a badge back in a drawer at home that doesn't fit my skin. I walk past lines of yellow tape, I helped to draw a shade too late, turned away from clean confessions when the wrong man held the weight, shook hands inside dim back offices, closed the file, killed the lamp, let one quiet wolf keep breathing, let the loud one take the stamp. Every favor bought me credit in a room that trades in fear. Now the
train hums along the river, carriage rattles low and slow, window showing me a stranger with my jaw from years ago. Overhead the tide light flickers, coat hooked on an empty seat, photo locked inside my briefcase, names and dates in folded sheets. I could drop it on a desk and watch some bright careers ignite, or let sleeping pages linger, keep my kingdom out of sight. Every shortcut had a reason when this town turned off its face. Every crime scene hid a story that was easier erased. Now the hush inside this carriage sounds like boots in distant rain, walking back along the choices that I'll never clear again. So I walk this line with a badge I buried alive, half a witness, half a warden, to the things I let survive. I'm the silence in the stairwell when the deal goes down upstairs. I decide which truth gets spoken and which one just disappears. If you sleep through all the sirens in this restless crooked hive, thank the man who bent the law for you with the badge he buried alive.
Gravel under boots and the bridge bones overhead, rust along the railing, flaking brown and city red. Trunk lid breathing open with the dome light burning thin. Your shadow on the concrete says you're itching to begin. There's a license plate still ticking, cooling down from the ride, and a plain black duffel waiting by the pillar at your side. Say, tell me what we're doing. Is it money, is it fear? I just nod toward the water, say we finish things down here. There was a man once called me brother, swore we never cut the stay, till he traded quiet loyalty track. And the river wrote an ending that we never called him back. You think power's in the whispers and the doors are swinging wide. You don't see the heavy stones you start to carry when you ride. Every favor, every secret hangs a weight inside your chest, and the river is the only place that lets those weights rest. I leave what the river keeps, where the current runs too deep, where the steel of this old bridge holds the secrets that we keep. You want a name that makes them move, a chair they know you earn, but that chair sits on the faces that this water never returned. I'm the hand upon your shoulder when you stare down from the beams, teaching you the price behind the code that builds your dreams. Look up at the traffic, hear this whole town breathe above. Every flashing pair of headlights thinks it's innocent of us, but they don't see the scrape marks on the rusted crossbeam line, or the way this concrete listens for a boot that feels like mine. You keep asking for the shortcut, for the quickest way to rank. I'm showing you the entrance carved along this heavy plank. There are nights the moving water brings back watches, rings, and sleeves, little ghosts of quiet choices that I never let them grieve. But I still lace up my gloves and I still answer when they call, 'cause the man who does the dirty work decides how much will fall. You can live your life in alleys or in rooms with leather chairs. Either way, a man like me is waiting somewhere on the stairs. So learn what the river keeps, what it swallows, what it spares. Every quiet little secret has to sleep somewhere it dares. You can wear the fitted jacket, sign the deals you crave as true, but the weight of what you order walks the night beside you too. I'm the one who stands right with you when the water takes its due. Well, and what the river keeps tonight will live its whole life inside you. blowing yellow on the floor. Old frame pictures on the paneling, crooked near the door. You're drying glasses with a rag that's seen more nights than me. I lean back in this corner chair when no one else can be. On the table there's a coaster, half cold coffee in a cup, stack of chips from some old card game no one ever finished up. I remember when I stood, not sad, just waiting by that wall, running errands for the men who never had to take the fall. Carried briefcases and ledgers, fetched their coats, held every key, learned to listen more than speak, let the silence work for me. Then one evening someone's missing, one chair empty at the head, and that space at end of table stared like something just been fed. You think power's in the shouting, in the fist that hits the wood, in the toast that ends a meeting, when the deals all sound so good. But it isn't in the volume, it's in who the room leans toward, in the man whose quiet night becomes the last and final word. Cause a chair keeps score every night I take that seat. It remembers every name that had to vanish off the street. You can rise up through the thunder, you can float above the roar, but you don't outrun the weight building these arms and legs of oak sunk in the floor. I may look like I'm in charge when the voices beg for more, but I'm just another name. The chair keeps score. There was once a younger brother, not by blood but by the way. He would stand behind my shoulder, take the heat I didn't pay. One long meeting, too much talking, too much fear inside that room. I said nothing while their glances wrote his sentence, signed his doom. Later on I stamped some papers, moved some numbers, locked the door, came back here and let the quiet push his memory through the floor. You pour coffee, you say nothing, that's the language of this trade. Men confess with half a sentence, leave the rest inside the shade. I'm not asking for redemption, I'm not crying to be saved. I just know this worn out cushion holds the ghost of what I've made. Yeah, the chair
this bridge, the river don't ask where the stories go. Concrete pillars keep their secrets in the rust and in the mold. You're standing there in a new jacket, shoes still clean and dry, eyes too bright for where we're meeting, looking up instead of slide. There's a folding chair I bring out when the work runs past the bar, metal cooler by my booth, black bag in the trunk of the car, street lamp humming on the embankment like a halo out of place. You keep searching for the glamour, all you're getting is my face. They don't call me when it's simple, kid. They call me when it's late, when the plan has gone to splinters and there's weight to relocate. See this old steel briefcase sitting open by my knee. Inside there's gloves of burner foam, understood key. Got a ledger in my pocket with no last names on the page, just location, dates and numbers, little tombstones of this age. You think power's in the spotlight, in the tables and the suits. It's in knowing what to bury and which story wears which boots. This city never keeps a memory unless somebody gets paid. But a man like me can't sleep unless he remembers what he made. Under this bridge, you don't shake hands, you swear an oath. You don't just join the life tonight, you marry all its ghosts. I'm the one who wipes the glass and folds the night back in its cloth. You walk out with your shirt still white, I walk out with the cost. If you wanna move in silence, there's a price you never show. Under this bridge you sign your name and what you promise not to know. Rule 1, never let your family live inside the same address. Keep the numbers off the paper, keep their birthdays out the mess. Rule 2, never hang a promise where emotion wants to sing. Every favor has a handle, every deal's a piece of string. Rule 3, when you see the folders laid out on a metal hood, you don't ask who did the damage, you just make it understood. These pale lines across my shoulder look like maps of some old town. Everyone's a night like this one, when I kept a story down. You break the code, the river takes you, not with drama, not with sound. You just fade into the ledger as a note beneath the ground. I don't chase and I don't argue when a young man wants the crown. I just won't be there beside him when the whole thing tumbles down. Under this bridge you don't play tough, you count the cost. You don't just feel like you're a legend, you accept what will be lost. I'm the shadow in the background that let your stories lean against you. Walk out with your future clear. I walk home with what's condensed. If you're still dead set on entering, let that bright look turn to old. Under this bridge tonight, you choose and learn what one man's cold can't hold for bold.
Floor, glass wall, citywide below my shoes. Big slam circles on the ledger like a halo made of dew. Fountain by my knuckles, figures walking down the page. Every line another favor, every column another cage. Safe door breathing in the corner, still it never says a word. But it's heard more broken promises than the streets have ever heard. I don't carry any weapon you could feel beneath a coat. I just move a single number and erase a man with one small note. Started running jobs when bills fit in our hands. Backroom coins and short cons long before the bigger plans. You were always first to laughter, I was always first to count. You would take the front door credit, I would track the bank account. Tonight I see your name repeated where it shouldn't ever be. Extra cuts in quiet corners where the ink won't answer me. I could call you in and listen while you dress it up as a need. Or I could balance out the problem where the numbers start to bleed. There's a cost to every favor, there's a shadow in each fee. And the one who holds the figures draws the lines they'll never see. I'm where the numbers bleed, in the margin of the sheet, in the quiet after closing when the city holds its breath beneath. I decide who gets remembered, who gets folded, who gets free. In the dim light of this office, where the numbers start to bleed, you can walk like you're untouchable, talk like you were born to lead. But your name is just an entry where the numbers start to bleed. where they stand above the law, never knowing that their empires live on lines I have to draw. Men with polished shoes at meetings, talking loud about their crown, who forget that every secret passes through one quiet line downtown. Some are saved by shifting figures, some are folded in the sun, some are left on borrowed time just to see what they become. Every time I cross a brother, every time I cut a friend, something colder fills the spaces where my patience used to bend. Far below this window's edge, there's an alley, there's a light, and I know which doors stay open when your totals don't add right. I don't pray for any mercy, I don't ask for any sign, I just keep the ledger breathing, put my silence on the line. I'm where the numbers bleed, in the margin of the sheet, in the hush before the sunrise, when the power men all sleep. I decide who gets a warning, who gets written off as seed, in the dim light of this office, where the numbers start to bleed. You can call yourself my brother, you can swear it's just a need, but you gambled with the writer, where the numbers start to bleed.
Second class compartment, yellow numbers on the door, paper ticket in my pocket, shoes flat on the floor, suitcase by my ankle with a tag I didn't write, window full of platform lamps dissolving tonight, coffee cooling quietly on the fold-out metal tray. Pen keeps drawing circles round the words I will not say. Your name sits in the corner of this page I never send. Every station that we pass feels like another almost end. You met me in a corner booth where no one saw me smile. Said my eyes look like a man who's done his time without a trial. You were right about the numbers I kept hidden in my head. Every favor, every warning, every time I walked instead. I kept choosing one more meeting, one more knock behind the door, telling you I'd come home early, then I'd see the waiting floor. You just
just straightened up my collar, kissed the question off my face. Said, a man like you don't run, you only leave when you say a race. Now the city's just a shadow on the glass behind my seat. All the things I didn't tell you, riding quiet through my feet. I'm the man on the last train out, not a dog that lost the chase. I decide which night I vanish, I decide when I leave that place. Every mile is one more sentence in a story I rewrote. Every light along this railway brand's a promise that I broke. If you wake and feel me missing, like a hand without its vein, just remember I walked out by my own cold road on this last train. Countryside comes by in fragments, little houses, sleeping fields, faint reflections in the window show a face that never yields. I can see you in the glass there, half a ghost behind my eyes. All the mornings in your kitchen, all the don't ask where replies. I got numbers in my memory and a phone I will not touch, names that never hit the paper, debts I paid a little much. There's a folded Photocola between the lining of my coat. You're still leaning on my shoulder, trusting fingers at my throat. If they tell you that I ran, say he walked and he walked slow. He was done with saving cowards from the fires they let grow. He was tired of being summoned just to tidy up the end. So he chose a moving cage and made the darkness his last friend. If you ever find this letter that I'm scared to let you see, know I left a life behind me, so it couldn't take you with me. I'm the man on the last train out, not a shadow on the run. I'm the one who closed the notebook, not the one who dropped the gun. Every mile's another handshake with the things I can't explain. Every town that sinks behind me rinses something from my name. If you stand beside your window and you listen through the rain, you might hear a distant engine carry off the weight of my stain. When you think about the danger that once slept inside your room, picture me on this night railway, drawing borders round our doom.
straight line. Coffee cooling in a white cup, taking seconds off my time. Motel key against my thigh, hanging low from a plastic ring. Map folded in my jacket, every road like a worn-out string. You're asleep 2 doors down in a room I paid in cash. Curtains drawn against the darkness, suitcase zipped and ready stash. I'm not built for long goodbyes, never have been, never will. So I'm sitting with the silence till my heartbeat learns to chill. Met me by the back door while I count and roll up notes. You were humming over dishes, steam was rising off your coat. We split tips and quiet glances in that hallway by the sink. You could taste there's something heavy every time I wouldn't drink. There my name got tied to favors on a chain in a quiet cause. Kept my boots on noir and asphalt while you painted softer walls. You kept asking where I vanished when the air turned sharp and wrong. I kept saying I'm just working, knowing that won't hold for long. Out here every highway exit is a line you cross or keep. Either ride it till it breaks you or step off before it's deep. But I don't run, I leave with my shoulders straight. When the game turns crooked and the odds feel late, I don't beg, don't plead, I just change my speed. Take the last road out with the things I need. I won't let this life come crashing through your sleeve. I don't run from this, no. I don't run, I leave. Ignition key is in my pocket, gas receipt inside my palm. Old motel, ice machine humming, parking lot pretending calm. I wrote 4 lines on hotel paper, left them folded by your shoes. Didn't say the half I wanted, only what you need to use. Told you lock the door at sunrise, change the number in your phone. If they ever ask about me, tell them you walked out alone. Taillights wait like red decisions at the edge of gravel light. Once I turn them to the highway, I'm a story out of sight. Men like me don't get to keep both your heart and what we do. So I'm taking all my trouble and I'm pulling it from you. You deserve a quieter kitchen, steady footsteps on your floor. Not my shadow on your paycheck, not my knock upon your door. I don't run, I leave when the lines run thin, when the debt gets higher than the stake to win. I don't shout, don't weep, I just change my speed.
Let the white lines carry off what I can't keep. If you ever feel a space where my name used to be, no, I didn't run from you, no, I just had to leave.
Morning bar where the ice machine complains. Door half cracked to the hallway, jukebox mumbling someone's pain. I've got my badge on the table, face down on the wood, next to a dull thick envelope that feels heavier than it should. My coat hangs off the chair like it's tired on my skin. Holster strap unbuckled, metal resting in the den. The bartender wipes the glass he already wiped before, leaves me with my silence and the low hum under the floor. First time I took an envelope, it barely weighed a thing. Rolled inside a case file like a quiet wedding ring. Guy said you were going there anyway, just forget that door you saw. I told myself it doesn't change the truth, just how we write the law. Put the cash in my inside pocket, where the badge once rode along. Felt it press against my ribs all the way back home. Told the mirror you're still the one who keeps the wolves at bay. Didn't notice that my shadow learned new colors it could lay. Now they call me when they want the right report with wrong details, when they need the sirens missing and the handcuffs not to fail. I keep a leash on the law, pull it tight when I walk, make it sit and make it stay, make it move when I talk. I can turn a crooked favor into clean official lane, make a sinner pass for a witness with one signature in sync. But every rule that I bend leaves his teeth in my jaw, 'cause a man with a leash on the law wears a bite inside his draw.
Last week there was a folder on the wrong side of my desk. Wrong name on the cover, wrong fingerprints at rest. Phone lit up in the corner with a number I don't save. Voice said, you owe me one more time, or I'll show them what you gave. I closed the blinds in the office, locked the drawer and killed the light. Switched to thin jackets like a left hook in the night. Then I sat there in the dark with the copy's fading heat, listening to my heartbeat line up with someone else's beat. There's a line painted down the middle of every street I drive. Used to be the only border between my badge and their side. Now it's more like cracked glass widening underway. You can't keep leaning on the rules you helped yourself to break. One day this dog I've trained so long will pull back from my hand, trace my footprints to this table, and demand I take the stand. I keep a leash on the law when the city starts to shake. When the bosses need a favor, only I know how to make. I can bury what they've broken under forms and seals and codes. Turn a midnight by the river into a suspect never showed. But every night I hang this badge, it feels tighter on my throat. I'm the man with a leash on the law, and I carry what I wrote. So I finish what's in this glass, flip the badge back in my palm, walk out with my collar straight, wearing guilt like quiet calm. Keep a leash on the law, keep a leash on the law, keep a leash on the law.
Phone vibrates on the nightstand, red digit, read. Cheap motel air conditioner, humming out a broken key. Your name across the screen, like a mark I recognize. I hear your breath before your words, fear tucked behind your eyes. You said, brother, I can't fix this. There's a car down by the pier. There are things I never meant to, and I can't stay standing here. I slide the chain off the door frame, take the keys from under glass, kill the TV's muted flicker,
let the quiet hours pass. By the time I hit the dark sodium lamps are buzzing low, single sedan with one door open, tire marks and dirty glow, glove compartment hanging crooked, paper spilled across the seat, your hands resting on the railing, boots unsteady on concrete. There's a shape laid by the bumper, breathing shallow, eyes half closed. You say it wasn't how we planned it, it just happened, then it froze. I don't ask for all the details, you can't carry and stay true. I just pull your collar straighter, say go home, I'll walk this through. 'Cause in this city there are numbers, you don't dial for something small. I'm the silence in your pocket when you can't afford the fall. I'm the man they call it to when the story can't be told, when the uniforms will break you and the truth turns hard and cold. I redraw your crooked footprints till the trail looks halfway new. Keep a ledger in my quiet with your name cut clean and true. I don't wash away your choices, I just hide them from the view. I'm the man they call it too, and the cost comes back to you. Fold the top across the middle, close the trunk with steady care, brush the metal by the gutter, wipe your fingerprints from there. Drag the story to the water, let the current take what's loose, tie the loose ends to the railing with a practiced wordless truce. When I climb back up the embankment, sky is paling into gray. I can see your room's dim curtain to motels along the way. You'll wake up and swear it ended when you heard that first sharp sound, while I drive this empty highway with your secrets riding round. Someday there'll be some young blood who thinks he's colder than the night, thinks that calling in the cleaner means he walks off clean and bright. But the stain don't leave that easy, it just shifts where you can't see. And the man you call it to keeps your name in his decree. I'm the man they call it to when the distance feels too short, when the river's not deep enough to hold the weight of what you brought. I don't raise my voice or question, I just tilt the scene askew, write it down in silent pages filed under old bayou. Got a face you can't remember and a number known by few. I'm the man they call it too, and the night remembers you.
burning on mahogany grain, blinds half closed, keeping out this city strain. Ledger open like a quiet wound under my hand, columns holding steady where the nights refuse to stand. And calculator resting by a pen, I've worn the bone. Safe hums low in the corner like it's thinking on its own. You're on the other side, ties still learning how to fall, eyes crawling over dates and names in every frame along this wall. You say you like the order, how the numbers never shake, how the noise out in the hallway stops when I call what to take. You think power is the silence when the elevator doors slide close, when a little line in blue ink means a problem just gets froze. I used to sit where you are with that same sharp little grin. Thought these pages were protection, not a shell I'm living in. Didn't see that every figure, every quiet, tidy line is a life I had to balance so the rest could still look fine. You see profit in the margin, see a kingdom in the glow. I see nights that never ended in the spaces you don't know. I'm the man beyond the numbers that make the wolves look clean, turn their chaos into totals, keep the stains off every scene. You just read the final tally, think it's all neat, black and gold. But what the books don't show is the cost that can't be told. When I close this heavy cover, whole empire sleep just so. And you don't want the weight of what the books don't show. You'll get this office if you keep your breathing slow. You'll inherit all these folders that the daylight doesn't know. You'll learn which names to circle, which to quietly erase, which mistakes turn into losses with a stroke in the right place. You'll watch men in perfect jackets thank you for their second lives. Never see the late night version when their panic walks with knives. And when the room is empty, when the hallway is long since clear, you'll be left with lines and columns and the ones that disappeared. I don't bluff, I don't shout, I don't swing my weight in bars. I move numbers, move the risk, keep the truth behind these scars. If you step into this ledger, if you reach for what I hold, you better bring a colder heart than the one you've softly sold. Cause I'm the man behind the numbers that make the wolves seem tame, dress their hunger up in balance, write a story with no blame. You can chase the chair I'm sitting in, think it's where you're meant to go, but all you really claim is what these pages never show. When you finally turn that cover, feel the silence in the glow. You'll understand too late what the books don't show. Down here by the loading docks, the rhythm man, the rook center's on the line. I'm the big band, you call it midnight. You stand there in your new coat, collar up against the deep, trying hard to hide another limestone. Over there, the sodium lamp hums, painting rust along the rail. Cargo crate with faded letters, busted lock and crooked nail. I lean against the cold steel, boots say wide, my hands at rest, and say you know my name already, that means you walk past all the rest. We first talked in that back room with the plastic clock half dead, curtains drawn across the window, ledger open by your head. There was money on the table in a folded paper sleeve, and a jacket on the chair back you were scared to ever leave. You kept staring at the doorway like the door could grow a fifth, like the night itself was waiting with your name inside a list. You said, I heard you fix things, keep a family's record clean. I just snapped the folder gently, said you don't know what that means. 'Cause every quiet favor writes another line in stone, and a man who needs a cleaner never really stands alone. I'm the man you call at midnight when the room won't take a blame, when the story in the hallway doesn't match the one you claim. I can fold a broken evening, tuck it deep and lock it tight, have you walking out in morning like your hands stay clean all night. But if my number's in your pocket, boy, you're deeper than you say. I'm the man you call at midnight, and there's always one more page. Seen cameras tilt away like they'd rather not recall. Seen a contract in a handshake, not a word on any wall. I've walked out of quiet houses with the curtains barely drawn, left an envelope on counter saying handle this and then move on. Every coin that hits my palm has got a shadow on its face. Every favor that I grant you ties you tighter to one place. You keep telling me you're different, just a businessman in gray, but you're standing by this water with a man like me today. Every number in your phone, son, is a doorway with a price. Some will open into comfort, some will open into ice. When you scroll down to my letters, understand the line you cross. You were asking for control while putting me above your loss. I'm the man you call at midnight when the room won't take the blame, when the echoes in the stairwell don't agree with what you claim. I can fold a broken story, make it vanish from the night, have you shaking hands at breakfast
like your world still sits upright. But if my name is on your tongue, you're already in too deep. I'm the man you call at midnight, and that bed won't let you sleep. Won't let you sleep. Won't let you sleep.
Bar stools turned upside down. Just you, me, and this longwood rail. Sign over the bottles, humming soft like a tired fluorescent jail. Back door to my office is open, lamp still burning on the books. Columns is neat, where nobody else ever looks. Scared and sentence, you dry glass with slow hands. Say, rough knife, I'm in ties. I shrug and tap the counter answer, just adjusting someone's size. In that drawer behind my desk, there's a file with one name bold. A man who used to share my coat when the nights came in too cold. And I was the one who took loose favors and turned them into straight lines. Turned street talk into interest, turned late pay into hard fines. Learned to move zeros like soldiers, send them marching where they fit. Keep the balance looking honest while those pay for it. There's a rule for every secret that they slide across my desk. Yeah, you don't mix blood with business. You don't call a gamble blessed. You don't lend more than you're willing to lose and still stand tall. And you never let a man's forget who caught him in his fall. But these pages don't stay paper when the ink sinks in too deep. Every margin hides a story that won't let us tell us sleep. In my midnight ledger, every favor has a cost. Every name I underline is another corner lost. I keep the numbers perfect so the bosses feel secure. But there's a brother in the balance I can't wash off my conscience pure. I built this quiet power from the shadows of their crime, and the line that keeps them breathing runs straight through my pen tonight. We started splitting cheap meals, counting coins in plastic trays, sharing one clean shirt between us on the better paying days. He was muscle, I was figures. He was motion, I was schemes. He walked out of narrow hallways while I polished all the dreams. Now his name sits near the bottom of a column art concern. Boss wants pressure on his corner, says it's time he starts to learn. You ask, so what's your problem? That's the road you chose to drive. I say, problem is the interest when you charge it to the ones who kept you alive. I could fold that sheet and vanish, slide his death beneath a lie. Call it mercy, call it treason, but at least he doesn't